For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Happy Thanksgiving, you turkeys. Jeremy Bradley here. I'm here and I'm not. Maybe that's the best way to say it. It's The Scribble, 30 minutes of time-wasting fun. Happy holidays to ya. And are you feeling festive already? This is sort of like the kickoff to the holiday season. Even though it's November, we start to get all, Christmassy, Hanukkah-y, Kwanzaa-y, whatever you celebrate in December. We just got that now because Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all that, it's now the kickoff, the official kickoff to the holiday season. And that's what I'm going to be talking about on the show. Just everything about the family togetherness. As a Canadian, I never really understand that Americans get into like fist fights at the family dinner over politics. And then the Thanksgiving dinner, where everybody's just glued to their phone, or is it actually about family and bonding and togetherness when you all converge for your holiday dinner? And then also Black Friday. Is it really worth it? I call it Black and Blue Friday because we know that people are just out there to grab the TV, even though they don't want it, they don't need it. They probably didn't even realize it was on sale, but they just saw everybody running to it, and you can overpower somebody, you can step on their hand and get that TV from them. It's the thrill of the chase. Is it though? That's what we're talking about on The Scribble, and it starts right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. So as Thanksgiving is here, or just past, depending on when you're listening to this, I guess, it's one of those things, as we know, Americans will get into political discussions and fights, maybe that's the better word for it, with family members. As a Canadian, I've never understood that because, we're a very close family, and I don't know that at any of our get-togethers there's ever been like an intense political discussion about Canadian politics. I'm trying to think. If anything, it's mostly laughing about. It's actually laughing about American politics, really, in our family. If it comes up, I don't. That's what I'm getting at. Is there's no fist fights, there's nobody who's like, oh, you voted for so and so, you can't come to our Christmas. Because I don't. Truthfully, let me be honest with you. I don't know who anybody in my family votes for. I have because Canadians are just different. Maybe some of them do have. Maybe my relatives have their. Yards, like the yard signs. When there's an election coming, you might have the yard sign for your candidate or your whatever. But I don't know. I don't know who anybody votes for. I don't know anybody's politics. I don't care. And that's where you could go and say, well, but Jeremy, you're a gay man. What if they support a candidate who's, homophobic or whatever? Well, maybe they vote for that person for other reasons. Maybe there's other things. That doesn't make my family member homophobic, but it's so very quick to judge, right? That because you have a different politics than I do, then we can't. I have no idea. I have no idea who. So one of the other things that comes up, though, of course, this time of the year, and if you've got a teenager or there's just teenagers in your life. The phone thing. I mean, even as adults, you're going to do that. And I remember a time where, I think it was Christmas though. Like I said before, we have Easter, we have Christmas, we have Thanksgiving in our family. It's a big to-do, as my mom would say. It's the turkey, it's the pierogies, it's because we're a Ukrainian Polish family, we've got the petishke, the holubchi, all these, great, cultural, I was going to say ethnic, dishes. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal in our family. And so, everybody's on their phones, which it's funny when we go to my cousin's house because they have this board. I don't know where they got it from. It seemed like it was a craft store kind of a thing, but it basically says like welcome. And then it's like a chalkboard. It's got Wi-Fi password, and they basically write their password in there so that everybody can log onto the Wi-Fi with them. I realize that that's a very nice, hospitable thing to do, but I would go and say, you know what, you're actually kind of here to like interact with all of us. So maybe if we were having it at our house, and let me be honest, by the way, is that I have the biggest house in our family because I have the most money. We don't entertain at our house. We don't have the big family. We've never even offered to do it. I don't want everybody in my house. I would even just go and say, you know what, I will rent the room at the restaurant. You know, those private rooms? I'll pay for that before I have everybody at my house. And so that'll be the day. If we were having something at our house, I would go and say, here's a magic bag, everybody. All of your phones are getting put in this when you walk in the door, and you get them when you leave. We see that sometimes at concerts now, right? Whether it's, I don't know who is it rappers or comedians, I guess, sometimes do it now, where it's like, you know what? You're going to check your phone at the door when you come in, and you get it when you check out. That's what I would do. I would do that. And so I remember at one of our family get-togethers, my nephew, now they're teenagers now, so he was at the time, maybe he was early teens, I guess. This was only maybe about 5 years ago. That my dad was sitting on the love seat or the couch behind the coffee table where my nephew was sitting eating. My nephew, kneeling on the floor at the table eating. And, excuse me, my dad made a comment and said, it was Aaron, my nephew, said, Aaron, why don't you eat, put down the phone. So Aaron, the little shit that he is, this is totally true. Or said, my dad said something about get the phone off the table. So Aaron goes and puts the phone, this is a glass coffee table. Aaron is now using the phone in his left hand while still shoveling food with his right hand. He's got the phone now technically under the table and is looking at his phone through the glass table. So you can go and say the kid got the last laugh, he outsmarted my dad, whatever it was. But that's how connected to this phone that the kid is. And remember, I wrote a book called Put Down Your Damn Phone already. So I'm like this proponent of, if you're coming to my house to visit us, then you're not having your phone out. And if that's just even the rule that we have in our house. My husband and we each have more than one phone. So they're on the kitchen counter. Now, the nature of my business being an entertainment reporter and correspondent is I do have a phone that is connected to the newswire. So if there's a breaking story, I've got a separate phone. I have 3 fucking phones. One is just a newswire phone. There's no social media. There's nothing on it. It is just a newswire phone. So if that one goes off, yes, I have to, because that's my job. I'm contractually obligated to go and look at that phone and possibly jump on the radio and talk to people about it. So again, my life is a little bit different. But we're not, like, it's one thing if I'm in the bathtub and he's just in the living room, but if it's like us watching TV on the couch tonight, the phones are not there. They're just not. The phones are not up in our bedroom. Our bedroom is upstairs in the house. The phones are not coming up there. They're not. We're not waking up in the middle of the night because we're checking our social media. We don't even, I've mentioned this before, I don't even follow my husband on social media. We don't follow each other. Why would I need to follow him? I know what his life is. We are, as it's going to sound obnoxious, but we are together almost 24/7. So like, I know what he did today. It was me. No, I mean, like, so that's kind of the big thing now at Thanksgiving, right? Where you have everybody like, on their phones. I remember taking a picture just because I found it funny where we had, I think it was 4 of my cousins all like lined up on the couch, all just looking at their phones. These are adults. These weren't kids. And I just kind of thought, wow, Merry Christmas, everybody. Like, I said that we're a notoriously close family, but that doesn't say that we're getting together every single goddamn weekend. But, there are those times where I listed them already, Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, where those are kind of our biggies in the family. Those are the big holidays. So we don't see, those are the ones that, no, it's the phone thing. So that's also why I take that step back when it comes to the, make sure you're at the, you know what? You're all going to be looking at your phones anyway. You're not even going to notice that I'm not there. So if I come late, whatever. So it makes me think of that, at Thanksgiving where you have the two ends of the spectrum where you hear families getting into fist fights over their politics. I laugh about that because I just think that it's so ridiculous that, there's going to be a food fight at the table, because I can't picture it happening. It's certainly not in Canadian households, but again, that's just the difference between the two countries. And then like the phone thing where it's kind of like, are we really together? So, and I realize social media is a big thing, right? My husband and I, we own two, e-commerce stores, which, the majority of your marketing and customer interaction is done on social media. I get it. So I'd spent, this was it in September? A few months ago anyway, where I was kind of like, let me get a feel for this. So I was the one who was managing the page for about a week or so. I was kind of like, you know what, because I want to know all the answers. I want to know what people are asking about. I want to know the conversations people are having. I want to see the comments. And as I've talked about, retiring at 39 like I did, I really took a step back from our company and the day-to-day operations of everything. So whereas 5 years ago, I was front and center, I was in everything. I was involved in every single freaking thing. Every decision that was made, every conversation that was had about one of our projects, I needed to be involved. I took that step back and I was like, you know what? I pay these people to worry about this shit. I am not going. So, and ditto for our e-commerce stores. So I took the reins and I was kind of like, all right, let me see. And it's really weird because after the week and a half or 2 weeks, whatever it was, maybe it was only even a week, I felt like I was in this community where when I would post or when I would, write something or when I would do the comments, I would feel like I was being transported into like an actual retail store. That was kind of how I felt. It was almost just like, yeah, I'm now all of a sudden in amongst a group of people is how it felt. And once I kind of took that step back, I was sitting there going, wow, I've seen all these people's pictures. I've had conversations with them. I go and put down the device, my phone. I go and put down the device and go, that opened up like an entirely new world. It was really weird because, like I said, it was almost like I was doing customer service in a store full of people. That I was helping this person. Oh, okay, I can put through this order for you. Okay, I can check the inventory on this. It was all done on a screen in the palm of my hand. It's great technology. I'm not saying that. But just what I'm saying is your brain kind of just transports you into this, like, I'm in a store. I'm in an environment where I'm around people. I'm like feeling attached to these people that I've got no idea who they are, what their deal is. They love the product or they, whatever. And you walk away from that. And when I see my phone on my desk here, I'm just kind of like, it was physically, mentally, emotionally. I don't want to use the word literally because I know what that word means, but it was almost like I was literally in a new world. That I was not just, on my couch or wherever I was, in the house or in my office. It was almost like I was in a different place. And so these people, and some of you probably are, but these people who are glued to their phones, I always laugh when I'm walking through the mall. I look at people's hands because I want to see, are you walking and you're clutching your phone? You might have pockets, you might have a purse, you might have whatever, but the fact that you are clutching your phone as you walk makes me laugh. It makes me laugh because it's not to go and say, well, I'm expecting a call. Oh, well, something might happen. What is it? 3 seconds for you to pull it out of your purse if the phone rings or makes a sound? It's whatever. And my husband was like that. Now, that's also a different story because he was from Brazil. And I remember the first time when he got to Canada, he insisted on having his phone on the pillow next to him in bed. Now, again, the rule in our house, there's no phones upstairs in my bedroom. So that goes for me, that goes for you, not that I was having many people in my bedroom at the time, but that's it. Even my phone, this is my house and my phone isn't even upstairs. But he just kind of was like, well, if something happens, and I said, it's the middle of the night. Even if something did happen, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no flights. You can't go, there's nothing that you can do. So if that means that you had to wait 3 hours or 4 hours to find out that something happened at home, that's okay. Because think about it. Back in the day, And I'm talking again to the old people here. Before you had a phone, you had to wait. You had to work all day and wait until you got home to see if anybody called you. You had to wait all day to check your answering machine when you got home to know if somebody called you. And you know what? That was okay. You survived. Everything was fine. The people who needed to know your work phone number or how to get a hold of you at work knew how to do it. Very rarely, unless, again, somebody died or there was some big thing. But it was okay. You were okay. It was fine. And it's the same thing when people, when parents go and say, well, my kid's cell phone, if something happens at the school, they can get your work number. They can call you at the office. I have a very strict policy about cell phone use here. When we have meetings, your phones are not in the meeting with you. You'll bring your company laptop or, but I don't expect, and I've never liked it. Even way back when I was, when an employee or like my boss or something wanted to contact me on my cell phone and start asking me questions about work. Yeah, no, that's my personal phone. It's just, you're not paying for it. You're not using it to contact me, ask me about work stuff. Years and years ago, I was a corporate copywriter for a big outdoors company. The graphic designer that we had on the marketing team, she was constantly like texting me after I'd left for the day, asking me about this. I would just stop like, yeah, no. It wasn't about just, I'm not on the clock or whatever, but it was kind of like, this is my own phone. So unless the company's paying for it, I'm not obligated. That's why I wouldn't want my boss like texting my own phone about work stuff. No. If you want work correspondence, you're going to pay for the phone. You're going to get me a phone. That's what it is. But I'm not reachable on my own personal cell phone for you to no. So it's interesting because that's what Thanksgiving, just tying back into what I was saying at the start of the segment, that's the family get together, especially for Americans, is going to be either politics. You're going to have people who are just going to be on their phone the entire time. It's going to be selfies. I always laughed because my brother would set up a tripod in the corner of my parents' living room when we would do at Christmas the gift opening. And I just remember thinking, does he actually like watch this again later? It's just once like it's a static image. It's not moving. It's almost like a surveillance camera in the corner, just like watching it, a ring cam. And like, has he ever watched? I should text him and ask him, like, have you ever watched that from Christmas of 99, Christmas of 2012, Christmas of 21? Did you ever watch that back, Trevor? Did you ever go? Probably not. Really? I mean, what was the point? I understand, taking the picture of the kids opening when they're young or whatever. But I mean, like, even now when they're teenagers, like, the kids don't fucking care. You take so many pictures of like, no. Think about how many pictures you've taken on your phone this year. Maybe you print some of them. Maybe most of them end up on social media because that's why you took them in the first place. But there's just like this weird, I don't know. You see it now. I saw there was a discussion on The View where they talk about unplugging and how it's like, I don't read the comments. I don't read this. Well, Sunny fucking Hostin blocked me, and I remember mocking her and making fun of her, but yet she goes and says that I don't read the comments. Well, then why would you have blocked me? You must have seen that I was making fun of you. So, okay. But then they talk about unplugging and how it was just so freeing. Oh, I unplugged for the weekend. Oh, I unplugged. Yeah, but you guys are also, I mean, this season of The View, they're very much like Housewives, the way they've done the promos and the way they make things look. I want you to legitimately unplug. Legitimately meaning, like I said, no phones in your bedroom. My husband and I can go the entire weekend and not be itching and not be, and again, remember, his family's in Brazil, so it's a little bit different when you've got, far, 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 far away. But it's more about what your priorities are. He loves his family. I'm not saying it's your family or me, but I'm just saying we're together. It's our, if something happens, you don't necessarily need to know instantly. It's okay if it's a few hours. I mean, there's some situations where there's nothing you can do about it. So, so that's what makes me think of the holiday season, because you're going to have everybody on their phones. You're going to have people, oh, what's the Wi-Fi password? Can I get the Wi-Fi password? I remember my brothers, when I first moved into my house, well, not when I first moved in. I don't know that Wi-Fi was even a thing then, because that's about 15, 16 years ago now. But I just remember years later then, my brothers coming over and one of them asking me for my Wi-Fi password. And I just remember going and saying, I don't know what it is, but we're here to hang out. I don't, and it wasn't even like we were doing like a night of like beer and like sports or whatever. They were only over for a short time. But that's where I just kind of thought, like, even that's even worse then. If you're only going to be at a person's house for less than an hour or an hour or two, and you need the Wi-Fi power, like, chill the fuck out. Really? Really? And I don't care that you got young kids. I don't care that, because my parents had young kids when they were working, and whatever. Well, if something happens, Jen, the wife needs to get a hold of me and call me. Well, Jen can wait for an hour. There's other people Jen can call. That's okay. I don't know if I've taken offense to it. I just kind of feel like, don't come over here. But if you're coming over to my house to spend time with me and my husband or my dogs, or just having like a brother's night, then it goes back to, like, I guess back in the day when you'd have a bachelor party. Take away the phones, right? The bachelor party was just kind of like this togetherness of the bros and the guys before the wedding. And remember, I'm a big old homo, so different when I say it. But like, that was just kind of like, it was just you guys. It was just that group. Nobody else was there. Like, no girls, no adults, no parents, no authority figures. It was just us guys. And that was kind of the fun of it, was that it wasn't everybody there. It wasn't everybody involved, because it's now just something that we kind of all share with each other. I'm going to wrap this up, yeah. But I think back to a couple months ago when I did a night out with two of my cousins. We did a girls' night because we just never had. And aside from my one cousin who's on dating apps, so she had her phone out for a brief time because we were talking about it. It was relevant. It was part of the conversation. But we were there at the restaurant for almost like 5 hours. I don't think that I brought out my phone for the first like 3 hours. Because the only time that we did was because I showed pictures of my dogs. But so I brought it out, because it was part of the conversation. But there were no phones on the table. There was no, like, and we're all, aside from the cousin on the dating app, we're married. We've got, and so that was something that I said. They were like, well, do you want to let Charles know that we're having another drink? Or are you going to let him know that you're going to be late? Fuck Charles. Like, I'm out with why I don't need to check in with him. And I realize, again, it's just common courtesy. If you do but he was kind of like, hey, JB's gone. I was going to say the wife. The wife is gone for the night. I got the house to myself, or he went to the gym with my brother, or whatever he did that night. I don't even know. But like, I feel like those types of relationships where it's great to have open communication, but that's my prerogative. I went into that dinner that night thinking that it was going to be an hour and a half. We were out for almost about 5 hours. Sure, maybe he was going to be worried. Did he get into a car crash on the way home? Did something happen? Or he's just going to assume they're having a good time. Like, whatever. And so I do have this issue with people's phone use, especially around the holiday season. I don't know. It's like I said, I'm not easily offended by things, but I'm just kind of like, well, did you come here to hang out with family, or just on your phone to the people who you hang out with every day on social media? I don't know. I'm one of those people who I don't care what you do. When we did have, my aunt turned 75 in September, and we had a big family thing at a restaurant, and I had no idea what was happening in everybody's lives. Like, we had people coming in from out of town. So there was a part of me kind of that felt, oh, I'm really out of the loop. Like, I didn't really know that so-and-so had corona. Oh, I didn't realize that so-and-so, such and such happened. That's not to say that I'm a distant relative. I just don't think to go and get my family news from social media. I believe that maybe there could be like a text chain or a group chat or something, or somebody would call me. Heaven forbid somebody call me and tell me that something happened in the family. But I'm not keeping tabs on social media, because if it pertains to me, if it's relevant or if it's necessary, somebody would call me. Somebody would let me know. I'd have that conversation. That's like I missed a family baby shower, or we had something, because there was a Facebook group invitation that went out. Oh, you didn't RSVP. Oh, you didn't. I'm like, I didn't know about it. Was it an email? Did you text me? Did I miss your call? Did I not call you back? Well, no, it was on Facebook. I'm sorry. I am not checking in on a cousin's first birthday party on Facebook. You can let me know. I'm not like Mr. Top Secret, where it's like I'm this big celebrity. Even my family doesn't have my phone number. No, you can get it from a relative, whatever. That's fine. You can text me, tell me, call me, whatever. I'm not going and responding to a Facebook event about your kid's birthday. No. So, absolutely I missed it, because I'm not logging into Facebook. Hey, do we have any family events coming up this month? yeah, I'm your relative. There's ways you can reach me and tell me about that. So send me an email. There you go. Message me DM me. Tell me your thoughts live at jbonair.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here, back on the Scribble with Black Friday shopping. I think it was more of a bigger deal years ago before like online shopping, because you'd camp out at the store or whatever it is. And now, and especially like in Canada, Boxing Day is the day after Christmas. You'd have your Boxing Day sale starts on Christmas Eve. So it's kind of like, we didn't really need to camp out at the store. I do remember on Boxing Day, this is years ago, going, Winnipeg in Canada on December 26th, obviously is very cold. And Future Shop was kind of like our Best Buy at the time. I wanted a scanner. Remember that for your computer? A scanner? And it was however cheap it was, right? That's always the deal. And I remember we didn't camp out because my mom was like, we're not camping out and I'm not taking you there to camp out. So we'd gone, early in the morning, whatever the hell time the store opened. And there was kind of that, I knew what I wanted, right? I'm going there. It's this scanner. I'm going to find it. I know that there's limited supply because sometimes the ad would tell you only 5 per store, whatever. So you know what you're kind of getting into. But there was just this thrill of as soon as the doors open, everybody just charging into the store. You see that now on YouTube or social media where they do that. People are getting trampled and unfortunately sometimes killed, right? That's happened. And then fistfights over the TV. And I kind of just look at that and go, I wonder if these people actually wanted that TV in the first place. And 2, if they were really just looking for the challenge of being able to grab this so other people don't. Or, third option here, if they're just going because they want to punch somebody. I mean, and because it's now all of a sudden this sideshow spectacle of people being animals and, literally rolling on the floor and wrestling over a television or over, whatever electronics or, whatever the hot ticket item is that year. And so I remember to the scanner thing, running into the store because I knew the layout of the store. I knew that the scanners, that computer stuff was kind of at the back left corner. So I just remember going in and just reaching. I saw where the crowd was, so I figured that's what they're here for. I reached in because I had a small arm. I was a teenager at least. I wasn't in my 20s yet. And just reaching, they had the box had a handle and just reaching it. And I elbowed somebody in the chest as I kind of pulled the box. And you just had this victory of I got one. And that was all I wanted. That was all I needed. That was all I got. And it was kind of it's I won. It was almost yes. And I look at it now and just think, wow, that's just so crazy that I don't remember how much I saved on it. I mean, sometimes they are a really good deal with things, whether it's the TVs or, video games or something, but I kind of look at that now and go, first of all, I ain't got time for standing outside in the minus 40 degree weather just to, for the sake of it. And if I wanted something, I would have bought it for myself. That was That was something that I've said that for years, even when my husband's like, well, what do you want for Christmas? You shouldn't have to ask what I want for Christmas. If you know me well enough, first of all, I'm going to probably have bought it sometime throughout the year anyway. If I really want something, I'm going to get it. But yeah, you should know me well enough as my husband that I do pull that diva card on him sometimes. But that's maybe what keeps the magic alive in our relationship. Send me an email. Tell me your Black Friday stories live at jbonair.com. One more quick break, and I'm back on the Scribble right after this.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's it. I'm Jeremy Bradley. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some